No one in this world can you trust. Not men, not women, not beasts. This you can trust.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Glory of Golden State Gaming. I'm your host SwampSwimmer, and with me as always, the Mulder to my Scully, Vespasian.
There you go. Great, I love it. God, how did it take us this long to get to that one?
Yeah, I think that was one of the low hanging fruit I haven't hit yet. But like, I'm glad we finally got to it.
Nice. Hey, everybody.
So as you know, we're going through all of the secondary objectives in the game, and we have gone through hold the center, hold the ground, spoils of war, king of the hill. I thought the logical next one to talk about would be breakthrough, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's scoring units at the end of the game in your opponent's deployment zone. Now, the one caveat to this secondary objective is you can get a max number of 3 scoring units in your opponent's deployment zone. So if like you guys don't fight and you just your army is just 2 ships passing in the night, you max you can get is 3, so you can't like just do that. But secondary is the breakthrough is interesting because it's very easy for some armies. For instance, beast herds, ambushing units, or very fast moving cav armies. It's very easy to get the secondary, but then for some other armies like, shooty gun lines, Empire Sonstal, dwarves, it's really difficult to get this secondary. I think the discussion around this secondary is maybe when do you go for it, and when do you say screw it, I don't even need this secondary.
Yeah, I think I'll always bring back the list building element to the secondary, right? So I think that this is why you often see dwarf gun lines with ambushing miners, EOS gun lines with 1 or 2 cheap electoral cav units, right? Highborn elf gun lines with little lancer units, for example, right? Because those armies don't want to be completely whitewashed in breakthrough, right? It's a fairly, I feel like breakthrough is one of the it's one of the ones that I don't ever see a tournament miss. I don't know why, but it just seems that way. And so I think that people try to compete in it. But sometimes if you're facing an opponent, like I think Warriors or your Beast Herd style is a really good example where they're going to fight the game on your side of the table.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, pretty much regardless of the type of list that you play. And so I think that those like aggro sort of punch you in the face armies have a leg up on breakthrough, not necessarily because their units are particularly good at it, just like physically they're over the midpoint of the field.
Yeah, they're battling over there. Yeah,
for everybody. Yeah. And one other thing for everybody to remember is it is the deployment zone, right? So odd deployments like refused flank, dawn assault, right? Those all adjust the deployment zone. So it's a good lesson to learn as well.
Yeah, and then like for instance, the ambusher defender deployment. What is that called? Jesus, encircle. Encircle. That can get real hairy with where you need to get your scoring units to, and so it's interesting. It gets interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you? What do you think that it's something that? Well, I feel like your armies tend to compete pretty well in breakthroughs.
Yeah, I'm playing Beasters, and when I'm playing Saurian Ancients, I'm playing pretty close combat Saurian Ancients. So yeah, it's I'm already moving in that direction already, and when I get through. But I think the bigger point is in list building, it's a big leg up armies that can have scoring darts, like the 5-man electoral cav, the 5-man silver helm. Stuff like that. I mean, it's not always going to win you the game, but it's certainly helpful.
Yeah, I do. One of the things I like about the design of this one is that unlike hold or secure or king or even spoils, that sort of inherently have a advantage to a big, hitty, defensive, tanky scoring unit, right? This one, a little 5-man cav dart does just as well as a 1500, point Death Star.
Yeah,
This one,
true.
right? I like, and in some ways even better because it's more maneuverable, right? So I think I like that leveling aspect of this mission.
So true. Well, let's get into the battle report. We are in round 5 of March to War. This happened in March, and we're filming this in end of April. We're a little behind, folks, but we got a lot of battle reports to get to you, but we'll get there when we get there. But let's get into the battle report.
Sit down one day and do like 5.
Yeah. Let's see here. I have been doing I'd been doing mediocre in the tournament. That one big loss against 2 big wins, a big loss, and then a small win. And then I get paired into John, who's an opponent we've seen a couple times on this channel, who we know very well, playing his ogres as he does usually. And we are playing a frontline clash, capture the flags. Let's talk about the list. Well, first off, if you're interested in my list, please click the link right above my head. That is the round 1 video where we go over our personal list in a little more detail. Also, click the link in the description below to a podcast from the Pacific Northwest guys where they go over this list of you. The podcast is called Mid-Table Menaces. It's a good listen. Go ahead and check that out. But let's talk about John's ogre list. He's got the Master on Shamanism with Rod of Battle, Great Khan General, 1 foot with Destiny's Call and Great Kagadai's Legacy, a Mammoth Hunter with Wrestler's Belt, Hunting and Spine Splitter. I don't remember what that does. I don't remember. Then he's got the Khan BSB.
I want to say it either gives +1 strength or gives him like Deb charge +1 strength so that he.
Yeah,
which also goes into the impact hits and the stomps and all that kind of stuff. It makes him like much hittier.
Yeah,
my recollection.
Let's see here. We got the Khan BSB, Double Aether Icon, Karkadon's Resilience, and he's got the magical ogre pistols, the Viper's Curse, which they're pretty good. They're pretty good. I like those. Yeah. He's got a 10-man bus with Pennant of the Great Green Sky. Tribesman bus, then 3 sticks of bruisers, 6 merc vets with the ogre pistols, poison attacks. Then that's it. Yeah, and the plate armor also. Then 4 Tusker Cav with banner of Ginget and a Frost Mammoth, a Frosty. So, looking at this list, thinking about my list, I thought I had a decent matchup. The one thing that kind of scared me was the Frost Mammoth and not striking first, which is always the difficulty with playing ogres. But I felt like I could get around it. But we will see what happens. This was a yellow matchup in my mind. I felt I had maybe yellow to what's one step between yellow and green. It was a yellow-green matchup. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so maybe it's like some slight upside. I mean, I think shamanism isn't like incredible against you, and he's I think more. He has some mobility that you need to watch out for. Like that Mammoth Hunter is definitely something that I think you'd struggle to sort of pin down. Though he's not necessarily that defensive, so maybe. And then, I mean, it's going to come down to that Merc Vet unit, right? That thing puts out a lot of range damage. It's super, super nasty in combat. And that Khan, if he survives to strike, can do a lot of work on your Minos or your Giants or something like that. So the great weapon of Kagadai's Legacy is pretty bonkers. Yeah. So I agree with you. I think it's kind of like up in the air, anybody's game. So but this is not breakthrough, right? This is
capture the flags.
Yeah. So the bruiser darts are a little bit more reliability, but so are your centaur unit.
Yeah, definitely. I can't remember. Yeah, I think I dropped to go, or like he maybe dropped a couple pieces. We traded back and forth maybe for 3 or 4 pieces, and then I ended up dropping a big chunk of my army to go first.
Yeah. Okay.
So left to right, I've got my centaurs here, the giant gargoyles, my big wildhorn bus, the BSB caddy in the back, the big minotaur brick, gargoyles in front of them, another giant, another wildhorn brick, and the last centaurs in the far right. Let's see, he had a bruiser stick on the left. These are the Merc Vets with his BSB. The Frost Mammoth, another bruiser stick. This is the Tribesman bus with his 2 other characters in it, the Khan and the Shaman. The big, Tusker Cav, another bruiser stick, and far right there is the is his Hunter. So I think, yeah, I wanted to. I didn't want that. Of course, I didn't want the Hunter getting in my backfield, so I put the Centaurs in the far right. And I wanted to make his Merc Vets move to get where they needed to go. I felt I could zone the bruiser stick on the left with my Centaurs, and then I could just delay here and sweep the right. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. The giant in the Merc Vets is not, like, even in the flank, because you're AP 0.
Yeah. That was one of my early drops. I think I dropped the gargoyles and the giants first. That's why they're kind of symmetrical like this.
Yeah.
But the giant's so maneuverable.
Centaurs and giant to stop those bruisers and then kind of retire for the rest of the game. Okay. Yeah, this I think it's interesting. You guys, he's really just sort of spread his threats pretty evenly across the middle, and you pretty much heavily weighted the right half of the board. So interesting. I guess away from the mammoth.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thought process.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let's see how this goes. Cool. This is turn 1. I just pushed forward, held the. You can't see it in the photo on the screen, but on the far right, I held back those centaurs. So his hunter could go into the front of my wildhorns if he wanted to, but it couldn't get behind the line because the centaurs are sitting there to countercharge.
Yeah.
And that giant, which we were just talking about, I kind of pull him back to the right. I zone with the centaurs on the left, and that's about it. Oh, and I throw up 1 unit of gargoyles, again, just to be chaff bait. If he comes in with either of those 2 big blocks, I'll have a countercharge with the Minotaurs.
Okay. Does he have? Did he have charges as it was, or?
I think the Tusker Cav did kind of. So that's why I kind of forced the issue.
I see. He doesn't have a cat or anything like that, so he doesn't really even have any.
This chaff is really
so
those sticks.
He probably uses those darts, and that's a liability in capture. Yeah. Okay.
I get Blackwing Totem off all my Minotaurs, which is nice.
Great turn 1 cast. Yeah.
So in his turn, he charges those gargoyles with the bruiser stick on the far right. I elect to just flee away from it, and they go here, and then he kind of backs up and then comes forward with his with the Merc Vets.
Yeah,
which is pretty understandable. He also doesn't really move with his hunter. Keeps him back there. Keeps pressure zone. He's like zoning me while I'm zoning him, kind of thing.
Yeah. If you start coming forward, then he can come around your lines and go after the BSB, and if you don't, then he's tied up one of your main blocks with a 375 point Mammoth Hunter.
And I was a little afraid of him charging me. I probably shouldn't have been, but I don't move forward very much. I don't think I have a picture of my next move in phase. Oh no, this is his. He gets Break the Spirit off on my minnow block, which is horrible. I mean, it basically means I can't charge them now, which sucks.
What were you Or you stop it. Oh, totemic because
Totemic and swarm, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. At least you kind of have to. That's one of the great things about shamanism is if those spells are effective, then break goes off every turn, which is amazing.
This is turn 2. Actually, you know what? He did move his hunter over here. I don't remember why he did that, but it allowed me to push up more with this wild hornbuck and keep him in my front arc and take these centaurs and put them up. So again, he can't get over my flank, but he's not facing me because I think he wants to go in here into the center with the hunter.
Okay.
My ambushers come on. I put them on here to just take care of or try to get into these bruisers. And we'll talk about it in a minute. But he does a very smart. He was thinking a step ahead of me on this flank, so we'll get there. But I continue to zone. I push up the giant a little bit to threaten. That's about it.
Huh?
So this game definitely started out cagey. Again, I get Blackwing Totem off on here on my Minotaurs. And then this is his turn. He continues to push up a little bit with his Merc Vets. He brings the hunter around the other side of the impassable over here, and he continues to sit and he throws out a piece of chest. He marches out this bruiser stick. Oh goodness, this is all news to me too, because this game was so long ago. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. I don't remember what happens next. Again, he gets Break the Spirit off on my Minnow block, so it's not a good day for the Minotaurs. And he gets Awaken the Beast, I think, toughness on here. I think he was anticipating a charge from the giant, but I'm not going to go into that. So, here we go.
What's he shooting at? Perks.
He's shooting at gargoyles. Notice one of the gargoyle units is gone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, he's smart to get your chaff out of the way, but yeah.
Yeah. So I decide it's time to push on the left flank. And again, this is the smart thing he did. He intentionally wanted his bruiser stick here on next to the impassable, so that when I charge them with my ambushers here, they would just run through the impassable and I can't catch them. So that was a smart move. I throw my giant up to chaff his Merc Vets, and I set up a counter charge with the centaurs and the wildhorns. I didn't want this big block to come into my flank of the wildhorn, so I throw this piece of chaff out. And that's where we are. Continue to push up on the right, because yeah.
Can he see those gargoyles with the tuskers?
No. I think I intentionally made sure no.
So like out because of the hill. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it feels like he's just given up the objective completely.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, he was playing much more cagey than he normally does, which was surprising to me. In the magic phase, I get off Blackwing Totem again, and I get off Awaken the Beast. I think it's toughness. I was anticipating maybe a long charge by something over here, so I want to just give him a little bit of toughness. And here we go. Here's his turn. He takes the giant with the mercs. He rallies these guys, of course. And he doesn't take any charges in the center, which was surprising. And he throws another bruiser stick up to chaff my wildhorns. What happens here? I think he shoots the gargoyles and they run away or something. I can't remember what happens here. Maybe it was magic.
Doesn't have any guns over there. Swarm, maybe.
I don't remember. It might have been Swarm. He gets Awaken the Beast +1 strength on his Merc Vets, which is overkill.
Yep.
Kills the giant. Overruns because I think he doesn't kill the giant. He wins combat and he wants to kill it, so he pursues. And this is probably where I made a dumb mistake. I push my wild horns up. I mean my longhorns. I make a long charge into his frost mammoth with my unit of centaurs, and really this was a gamble because if I want them to do anything, they need to get Blackwing Toad up on them.
And they're scoring?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Yep.
This is
you don't have any other major units, so
yeah. Let's see here.
You didn't charge the bruisers?
I guess I didn't. Why didn't I do that? I just think I didn't want this bus coming into me, so I'll let them just sit there for a while. I was thinking about delaying, and I turned my Minotaurs to come back around my lines. I felt like the Minotaurs had to go into the Merc Vets, and since he overran, he was facing away, so it'd give me a turn to get there. That's what I was thinking. Probably not the right move, but... and again, I throw...
I think with the Merc Vet, like, way out in the corner there, you'd sort of press the advantage. Although I suppose those gargoyles were right in your way. And if they were fleeing, that was unfortunately tough.
I think that was it. I think that was it. I was planning on charging with the Blackwing Totem guys, and then I got an unlucky leadership roll with them, and they fled to chaff my own guys. I remember that now.
Yeah, that's a shame.
And then on the right, I continue to push the centaurs up around the house. I throw the giant up to set up, give him hard choices in the center here. You can charge the giant, but I'm countercharging with the wild horns. That was the thought process. And in the magic phase, I do. Luckily, John didn't think of that, and he dispelled my other stuff. And I got Blackwing Totem up on these centaurs, and I get Clouded Eye off of the gargoyles because I don't want him to shoot him again because he's down to 2 guys. I think that was just my extra dice. And the centaurs kill the frost mammoth, which is nice.
Does that happen on average?
Yeah, that's because that's 8, 9, 10, 11, strength 7, rerolling to hit attacks.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose it does.
Yeah.
That's big. That's a big deal, actually. Getting rid of Frosty in this match. Yeah.
So he takes the charge. I think I was chaffing these guys with the gargoyles that ran away. So then that means they got this long charge.
No, you had your giant. Where did your giant? They must have killed the giant and overrun into the harpies.
I think that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Kill the giant, overrun in the harpies. He puts his hunter in front of my wild horns here. He turns his Merc Vets around and moves them back. I shouldn't have done that with the Minotaurs. It was pretty stupid, but it is what it is.
And your victorious centaurs are...
They get shot off the board by the Merc Vets.
Yeah.
But they serve their purpose.
Yeah.
All right, so on the left, I take the Longhorns into the flank of the Merc Vets. I knew that wasn't like I needed to help them out with magic.
You just want to hold one turn.
Yeah.
Basically.
And then I take the Wild Horns into his stick finally. And I take the Wild Horns into his hunter. And I went for a long charge with these centaurs in the backfield into the flank of his Tuskers, but I didn't make it, unfortunately. Turn the Minotaurs back around. I actually don't see my BSB anywhere. I wonder if he died, but So
he died?
I don't know. I get some magic. I get reroll to wound off on boosted Spectral Blades off on my Wild Horn, so they smoke the hunter, which is nice. in my turn, the Tuskers kill the chaff that they were in, reform 2 wide facing to the left, and then at the beginning of his turn, he double charges my Wildhorn unit with the Tuskers and the big block. And if you see on...
You can't reform and charge in the following turn.
Oh, well, John, you cheated me.
John. You cheated yourself, Kenyon. Maybe, I mean, did he didn't have an overrun into them, did he? Or did you like do a weird? No,
that's what they were. Yeah. What I did was I knew I was going to win on the far right or somewhere else. So I think I ran my BSB out somewhere else. I don't even know where he is now, but I ran him out and then put
Is that him to the left of your Minos? There's like a big thing sticking up there.
He's right here. Yeah. That's his banner.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And I stick the Mongol Raiders right up here because I'm thinking he's gonna overrun.
Yeah, to Chaff.
And then it'll just pin him there for another turn.
But it doesn't look like it would have made an enormous. I mean, he's obviously doesn't get the 6 attacks from the guys in the second rank.
Yeah.
But he would have been able to just pivot with the 4 and go in and get 2 in anyway. So it's not an enormous difference, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and then the Longhorns on the left, you see, they stick, but they take heavy damages. I think they swing and they kill like a guy or 2. I can't remember, but then he comes back and kills 7 guys.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was I thought they were gonna just break them and then turn around and domino down your line. So I think that's a good outcome.
Yeah. Let's see here. So in there, I'm not feeling good. I got current positioning. And then he blows through the Wildhorns and his Tuskers go into flank of my Minotaurs. And it's all collapsing at this point.
Now,
those Minotaurs
that might not be possible.
Yeah.
With the 4 wide.
But you do what you guys. And that's the end of the game. After he blows through my Minotaurs, the Mongrels flee. All that's left, I think he makes a long charge on the top with his Bruiser stick here into my Centaurs in the backfield, and it ends up only thing being left is this big block, my Wildhorn block on the right, and I just walk away with it. So it was a rough game. It ended up being a 0 to me.
Yeah, I don't feel like you did anything like particularly.
Well, I got jammed up on the right, and that's why I decided to move the Minotaurs off, which I shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
I mean,
as weird as it seems, like you should have just backed them up.
Yeah.
Because then you could have hammered those Tuskers when they came in. You didn't get enough point with the Frosty and the Mammoth Hunter, and
that's all I got.
You didn't manage to get enough to hang on to. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
I was pleased with that move when I got the Frosty. I was like, oh, this is some good stuff. I think I really have a chance now. But then a lot of just very close calls, like things are just out of my charge arc, and like John played it real cool. He didn't rush in when he didn't need to, and he got me good.
Yeah, I guess this is sort of the pivotal point here, right? Because the moves that you made in this turn allowed him to get that like sequence, I guess.
Yeah. He charges the giant with the Tuskers. He overruns into the 2 gargoyles. I didn't take the chaff in front of me because I was afraid of the charge from the tribesman block.
So for sake of argument, why did you need to chaff with the giant?
I felt like I was right. The tribesman block, I needed to give him a reason to get off the hill. That's what I was trying to do with either the Tuskers or these guys, and he made a long overrun into the gargoyles after he killed the giant.
Yeah. I guess with like I almost like with his Tuskers doing that, I feel like you would have been better off like just getting your Mongols the hell out of the way and turning the Mino block,
Yeah.
looking straight at those Tuskers, right? So that if they do what they did, then the Minos eat their lunch.
Yep, I agree completely. But I didn't do it. I blinked in the eye in the eyes of combat, and it cost me. But ended up being I was about where I always end up in tournaments. I was about average, somewhere around 50 points. Not too horrible. It's kind of where I'm always at tournaments. But
With three wins, 2 losses, right? So 3 and 2.
Correct. Yes.
That's good. Yeah.
But next we will have your round 5. The next battle report. Hey, if anyone's still watching, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you the next one.
Thanks, everybody.